I don't know who that is, Cade. Jahan, I did my draft last night. You got A.R. Brees, Ramondre, Amon-Ra, Devontae, Adams, Evan Ingram, Nico Collins. What do you think? I think it's a good squad. I traded Kyron and a bench player for Brees. Good job. Yeah, I think it's a decent squad. 12 team. My bad. 7 point. I got, you know what I'm saying? I got to just call it what it is, man. Oh, it's my pick. Did y'all leave Bijan for me? No, you didn't. You left Jettis for me? That's fine. Y'all left Jettis for me. That's fine. I probably should have looked at running back there, but I'm good with Jettis. Thoughts on Mostert this year? Achane is so. I don't know. If it was my world, I probably would just leave. I would leave like Achane and Mostert next to each other, but I think that'd be too egregious against ADP. Like, I don't think they're that far. Like, I don't think Mostert's going to be that much worse than what he was last year. He was one of the most highly utilized backs in the red zone. You get Jalen Wright to take over some of the run game. Like, where is Achane fitting this outside of like maybe more passing game work? I don't think he gets more carries because of his frame. So I think Mostert gets the same amount of carries until he gets injured. So if the injury risk is built in, that means Mostert's probably like slightly underpriced. And then I think Achane's just slightly overpriced because of the upside. So I have Achane right now as my RB16, and I got Mostert as like my RB22. So I got him way closer than ADP does. ADP has Mostert like I want to say like running back 24, and I think ADP for Achane is like RB8 or something crazy. So I just have it way closer than ADP does. Should I drop Chase Brown for Blake Corum, Ray Davis? No. Keep Chase Brown. Keep Chase Brown over those options. Gene said he wanted to pull the all-nighter on stream with you here. Hell nah. Ain't no way. I'm in the pay league. I say we do a standard draft because the free was auctioned already. I'm in there too. There was a free standard league too. So you just didn't get in that standard league, but there's a free standard league. So I'm doing auction on this one. It is what it is. And that's, you know what I'm saying? I know what you want to do, but I'm doing an auction league, man. So I don't mind it. And I'll probably I could do another paid standard league. And I don't care if you join both leagues. I know you're excited about Najee this year. No, Jalen Warren got hurt, and it doesn't make me excited that he got hurt, but I think Najee's going to get his credit this year. Najee has got to get his credit this year. One thing I've been thinking about, I just seen this comment, Ether come in. Man, it's been since the mockathon that I've been in a mock. I've been absolutely swamped. I've been kind of thinking, should I do another 12-hour like this weekend or next weekend? Another 12-hour? I was thinking about doing another 12-hour mock. That was fun. It was fun. Let's go, T Rio. Katie, tired, bro? See you on the next one, homie. Have a good evening. Miami runs a lot of 2 running back sets. Yeah, they'll run a lot of personnel in their backfield. But for me, like they use Mostert in the red zone. That's what I'm not worried about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not worried about that at all. So I am worried. I'm kind of worried. I'm worried that Achane's probably going to get hurt again this year. Achane is definitely not seeing over 250 touches. He's going to need over 200 to be like to hit his draft spot. He absolutely needs over 200 touches. The thing is, like when you think about Miami, they're big play driven. So that's Jalen Waddle, that's Tyreek Hill. Mostert's a big play guy when he gets going. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's expecting 50-point Achane, and it's like that's not the normal upside for him. That was a one-off against the worst run defense at the time in the league, and in one of the highest. That was what the highest or one of the highest? No, one of the highest scoring games ever for a single team. The outlier game. I debate on joining the paid auction because I typically don't do them, but I for sure join a paid standard. Y'all got to up your game, man. Up your game because we don't just do what draft spot you get. You know what I'm saying? You got to up your game, man. Auction, bid on the players you want. Let me know who you truly want. Let me know who you truly want. 12-hour stream, bet. I could do another 12-hour stream. I could do another 12-hour stream. All right. I'm up. Let's see what backs are here. We got Kyron, ETN, Achane, Jacobs. 4 receivers are here. Olave, Diggs. Let's go. Let's go Mixon here. I don't love that pick, but let's go Mixon. Let's go Mixon here. Let's see what happens. Where's Stevenson and Najee in your rankings? Want to know the difference between Najee and Mostert? I got Stevenson at like 16 or 17, I think, or 18, somewhere around there. The back end of the top 20. I have Najee and Mostert at the top end of the top 20. So like 21, 22, somewhere around there. You know what? I'm gonna join. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Up your game, bro. Like you could go do the standard, but then if you get the 12 pick, you're gonna be mad. Like, man. But it's like auction, you just get your guys, you know? That's why I like auction so much. It's like if you want to pay for somebody, you want to do half your budget. If you really believe in one player, get them. If you don't, you can fade them. You know, you're not just subject to like, I have to get a first round guy, I have to get a second round guy. Somebody took my guy before I picked. Like, go get the guys you want. That's why I always love auction. And it's a little bit more messy, a little bit more convoluted, but like, just go get your guys. Kelsey J. You want Kyron, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna go DK. I'm gonna go DK here. I'm gonna go DK. I'm about to open this up to TikTok for a little bit too. Actually, not because Gene's about to come on. Gene's about to come on. I'll wait till after Gene goes. After Gene comes on. In this mock, this is you know what I'm saying? This is remember it's a 14 team league too. And I don't want to give out too many hits and mess up somebody else's strategy, but remember this is a 14 team league too. So when you're in your like the more shallow the league, the less you need to address the outlier positions, your quarterback, your tight ends, right? You can avoid those a little bit more. The thinner your league, the 16, 14, 32 man league, you need to address some of those positions because quarterback and tight end, there's not as many of them. So just make sure you're thinking about that. I'm not saying that to influence the draft one way or the other, but make sure you're accounting for that as you're drafting. And, you know, then I think the thinner your league is too, you could also address, like I just talked about earlier, how you don't have to address positions and just get the best player. I think I'd be more apt to go positional in a 14 or 16 man league. So that's just my little spiel on 14, 16 man leagues. The depth is a little less important. What? Don't forget, I'm gonna be on Bleacher Report tomorrow in the morning. I'm gonna send the link to the Discord. Y'all got to show me some love in the chat that day, bro. Tomorrow morning at 9:00 Pacific time, I'm gonna be on there on Bleacher Report talking about best fantasy playoff schedules. So y'all gotta watch that, man. Y'all gotta show your boys some love. What's good? El Gran Santo was popping. He said, thoughts on Pacheco, you drafting him. And I've seen Pacheco start to like really climb in ADP. I've seen him as high as top 10. And when you're thinking about Pacheco, the one thing you got to think of is where is he going to increase his value? Is it in the red zone or in the passing game? So obviously he's going to be playing more on third downs, which can mean two things. One, he'll slightly be more involved in the passing game, but he'll also have to block more. So while I'm excited for him, I think he's earned this role over the last couple of years. I also think this leads to it leads to more injuries, the more snaps you play on the field. But also, like, he would have to have a really big uptick in receiving volume. I don't really draft a lot of Pacheco, but I can see why people are excited. I still have him as a high-end RB2. Just join the paid auction league. I'll send over payment on Friday. That's all good, my man. Yeah, should be a competitive league, man. Should be a really competitive league. Really competitive league. People are funny, man. I be looking at these TikTok comments sometimes. They be making me laugh. I get a laugh out of TikTok comments and YouTube comments. Sometimes I catch a lot of hate on YouTube. I just ignore YouTube a lot. I ignore YouTube a lot. So far, no quarterbacks have been taken. No tight ends have been taken. Interesting. A lot of receivers are gone. There's been some running backs that have slipped. Interesting. Interesting draft so far. These 14 team leagues, man, they get a little, you know what I'm saying? They get a little different. This is different than the 12 team leagues. And so our rosters, like I said, because we have that extra flex spot, it gets a little deeper. Gets a little deeper, man. Man, I cannot wait for week one, man. I literally cannot wait for week one. I cannot wait for week one, bro. We are so close to like real football. Real football, man. Listen, if anybody by the way, if anybody is looking for the draft guide, I don't know if you're new, like I know we got a lot of regulars in here, but if you're new to the page and you have not got the draft guide, I got it 30% off. So actually, I'll post the link in here if you want to get the draft guide. It's 30% off through the rest of preseason. 30% off through the rest of preseason. So it's got a lot of valuable stuff in there, man. If you have not got it yet. I'm going to be in the stream for Bleacher Report. Appreciate you, Doug. Won't be able to chat. It didn't let me last time. Hopefully, do you have a profile on there? Maybe it's because you don't have a profile. You think Adam's going to be better with Minshew? Absolutely, I do, PJ Nasty. Absolutely, I do. I think he'll be much better with Minshew. I think Minshew can get him the football. I mean, he was peppering Michael Pittman with targets last year, and I don't see why that wouldn't happen for Devontae Adams. I just don't see how that wouldn't happen. All right. Yeah, this is a little too far. Nah, let's go here first. I'm going to grab Lamar. I never take quarterback. I'm going to grab Lamar. Never take quarterback early, but let's get Lamar here. Yes, sir. The draft guide, baby. Appreciate the feedback on that, bro. Have you guys, let me ask you this. For anybody who's got it, this is for anybody who's got it, however you acquired it. Have you used it all during a mock? Do you like how your teams are coming out? Was there anything specifically that you found like really valuable in there that you weren't expecting to find? Any one of those three answers. Anything valuable? Have you used it in a mock? And did you like your team after using it? Let me know. Let me know how y'all feel about that, man. Loved Ridley last year, but all my drafts were on ESPN but one. So I was getting Ridley in the 5th. You were getting Ridley in the 5th round last year? I thought he was going like 2nd, 3rd round last year. I thought he was going like 2nd, 3rd round. I thought his ADP was like wide receiver 10 or 12. But to me, like, I like Ridley this year because he's going as like a wide, like in our drafts, he definitely doesn't go there, but he goes really late. Really late. I told myself I was going to take Kittle there. But I think I lied to myself. I'm going to take Jalen Reed right now. I lied to myself. Told myself I was going to take a tight end there, and I didn't. Kind of wanted to read it that pick, but all same tier players. Yes. As the season wears on, who will be a reliable target for the Bears? Caleb Williams. I think this is going to be a different collection of cast. So I've talked about Bears receivers, but I want to kind of dive into them really quickly, right? So DJ Moore, to me, seems like the most volatile, meaning he's going to have the most ups and the most downs. I think he'll be the most inconsistent, probably right there with Keenan Allen as the most productive. I think what will make him elite is his yak ability, his ability to get yards after the catch and break tackles. They'll probably use him at some stuff at the line of scrimmage for like bubble screens, but most of his stuff is going to be like downfield a little bit more. And I think Caleb, they're going to have to rein it in as far as the attempts. Otherwise, he's going to be out there passing like 700 times, and nobody wants to see that with that Bears O-line. Then you got Keenan Allen, who's going to be the receptions hog, probably see somewhere around 125 to 140 targets, probably be somewhere right around 100 catches, 1,100 yards, like just simple stuff, intermediate stuff, like 10, 15-yard receptions. That's just who Keenan is. He's always been that. He'll be reliable. So both of those guys should be right around the 1,000-yard to 1,200-yard marker. I think Keenan will probably have less touchdowns than DJ Moore, way more receptions. And then when it comes to Rome Odunze, him and Caleb have a connection, but to move the offense downfield, I think they're going to have to take more chances with him, just knowing the roles of the offense. Like Rome's probably going to be the guy that's out on 3 receiver sets. He's probably going to be the guy that's targeted a little bit more downfield. I think he'll have some splash games, but he'll be the least productive out of the 3. That's how I have it. So I think as the season goes on, we'll probably see more of Rome. We'll see a little bit less of Keenan, but I think that's the tier break I got. I got Keenan and DJ Moore up at the top. DJ's probably slightly more productive as far as touchdowns and just overall. Keenan right there, 90 to 100 catches, probably less on the touchdowns. And then Rome Odunze is going to develop a special connection with Caleb as the season goes on. All right, man. So obviously, y'all seen the homie a little bit earlier in the chat. I invited him into the stream. He's going to mock draft with us here in a little bit. He goes by the name Fantasy Gene, man. Shout out to him. Works with the Destination Debbie crew. Also have his own podcast. Y'all can check him out. The homie Gene, man. How you living today, my boy?
We good, man. I appreciate you letting me hop on, just impromptu. I see
I
you
saw
not
you got that Dallas hat on, bruh.
Yeah, man, I gotta rep the city, man. You know what you know how it is.
I know.
What's good with you though, man? I see you knocking out these mock drafts, man. I always be, randomly seeing you on TikTok, just the 24-hour just mocks. I was like, hey, this dude be out. You're a grinder for real. So salute to you for that. I know I see the people are rocking with you whenever. So good people in the fantasy space for real.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I try to do my share for the community, man. And we all got the things that we do well. And I think mine is just being here and being available. So I try to just be that, man, and be the best person I could be. But bruh, we're going to have to get into a couple things. We can talk about the auction draft, and we had, just for everybody that knows, me and Fantasy Gene, we were in a league together with other fantasy football analysts and creators, 12-team league. This is a league we played in last year, and it's a crazy auction draft with like $1,000 budget, and it's actually a really dope format. We play best ball, but you still make trades, you still make waiver pickups. So it's basically like it sets the best lineup for you, but you're still playing weekly, Gene. And that league to me is wild, and I kind of like the style, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, man, it's just something I was like, seeing in the fantasy space, everybody played the standard snake, and I was like, man, like a lot of people are really getting into best ball, specifically last year because of Underdog making their push. So I was like, why not just do best ball redraft? I play a lot of I play like 16 dynasty leagues, 10 of them are best ball. So I'm like, why not I just carry this over to redraft, man? So I've been slowly trying to get people to not only get away from lineup, but make it auction on top of that, bro. Like a lot of people just like are just so slow on it. And I heard you preaching on it. Like, go get your guy. Like, let me know who you really want. Like, let me see that money you're about to put up for him.
Yeah.
So it's slowly chipping away. People are really interested in in the redraft space, going auction. I think is the fairest way to get the team you want, because you have to put a monetary value to the person that you want.
Right.
We can definitely talk about the auction league. I know if you would, so we did a stream as we were dealing or whatever, and people weren't hating on your team. We were just chopping it up, and I was just like, damn, I already know how Justin about the draft, man. Just heavy RB.
Yeah.
I really want, like, who was it that you got? I want to say
I got Bijan and CMC.
Yeah, man. I really wanted Bijan. I was like, let me kind of stay true to the where I wanted to place my money towards. But yeah, you went really heavy RB, like just the heavy hitters at RB, and I knew you were gonna get the the old guard for your wide receivers, and you went crusty quarterback. Super crusty quarterback. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's a good time, man, for real. I love auction, man. Just it's the truest and fairest way, honestly.
It's crazy because you get your values, and it's tough because I think a lot of people don't know auction, and so it's tough to be like, I want to try it out, and I think it's the uncertainty that keeps people away. They're like, I don't know if I could do that format, but to me, like you mentioned, it's just the fairest way to do it, because you either get your guys or you get caught with a guy that you probably shouldn't have been bidding on. So it gives you a chance to price enforce. It gives you a chance to find steals. And maybe there's a player that you like that nobody else does that you get for an incredible price. and you're not at the mercy of the draft board or anybody that's auto
Yep.
drafting. It's like you can go get the player you want. So if you've never tried auction draft, you should. We're not gonna do one here on stream, but they
Nah,
take too damn long.
yeah, they do. And yeah, I mean, like you said, like you can build it exactly how you want it. You're not at the mercy of where you're at in the draft spot. And I mean, you just be really surprised about how people really want to build their teams out, man. Like it's still regular PPR, like even like the little you can put it tight end premium. I don't even I can't even remember if we have premium in that league or
Yeah,
not, but
there's tight end premium in
yeah,
that
yeah,
league.
yeah. It's 1.5 or 1.75, something like that. But regardless of the fact, you can still, make trades. Just it's fun, man. Just I love auction, man.
Well, this is the busiest part of the year. Obviously, like a lot of mock drafts, a lot of like, you're drafting in your leagues too. What are you working on right now? Like, what do you got going on? Obviously, you got the pod going on and other stuff, but tell everybody what do you kind of been working on? You doing content? You doing podcasts? You doing drafts? Like, just what the hell you got going on 2 weeks before the season starts?
So it's funny that you say that because we're about to go out of the country right like next week up until what we come back Monday Night Football. So I'm gonna be scrambling to see if I can even see the first week of football, but really trying to um just kind of plan out like the content that we want to put towards because we got a lot of creators at Destination Devi and me and Ike, the other host of the show, just underscore Ike09 on Twitter. We're really trying to find a way in the middle of the week, give information out quickly to people can digest and apply it to the waiver wires or trying to make trades during the season. Probably really focusing on trends that might not be not too too obvious. Like, okay, my favorite, let's say for instance JSN. A lot of people are hyped up about him because of the new scheme that's coming in. They're going to probably run a lot more 3 wide receiver sets. He's talked about how he's like the scheme more, but we want to pay attention to, okay, when they're out in 3 wide receiver sets, is he lined up in slots? Is he lined up at X? Is he lined up at Z? And then how is he getting targeted? So we want to pay attention to those type of things, put that information out for people to, kind of digest and try to use that as their advantage as they're, navigating the season.
Yeah. So for your show, are you on weekly? You on daily? Like, what do
No,
you?
we're gonna
How?
be on. We're gonna be on weekly. We come out every Thursday morning during the
Yeah.
season. So I mean, even the off season, we're on every Thursday. But definitely during the season, every Thursday, check us out. You can go on Apple or Spotify, search under Destination Dev, and you'll see us off the line fantasy football. But I also on the side, I'm a bettor for sure.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, so also gonna be always putting out plays, trying to, make some money in the process of, watching this game of football that we all love. So
Hell yeah, that's what we supposed to be doing, bro.
yeah.
So I'm gonna be making money off y'all, you know what I'm saying, in that other league again. I mean, I gotta go in there and dominate that shit too. So it's got some heavy hitters in there too, I'm saying personality wise. So I could talk about myself, Gene, but one thing I want to do, man, as a player, I've seen how you play the game, and it's good to find other people who know the competitive side of the game. A lot of times right now, this is the off season, and we get a lot of people who are either new to fantasy or don't play. They're not in the trenches during the off season. What's
Yeah.
some advice you got for like people that are coming in? Because like I said, I've seen you in action, bro. I know you know what you're doing. And one of the things that I preach a lot is like, you can't always go off of what you hear. You got to go off of the game. You got to be able to play the game of fantasy football because that's different than just knowing football. And especially for you coming from a channel where you guys are prioritizing knowing real football, it seems like they're on your show. Talk to me about how you come in and you kind of like, prepare for your fantasy football season, or what you would say to somebody preparing.
No, there's a few things. Like, first off, watching preseason, you want to take preseason for a grain of salt. Like, you're gonna see, people are hyped up about Bo Nix. Bo Nix has got named the starter,
What you think
and
about him?
I
I don't
mean,
mean
he's
to sidetrack.
cool.
What you think about him?
No, you're good. He's cool. He's cool. You like, I mean, the 2 preseason games, he didn't look too shook. He played within the confines of the offense shape, Sean Payton. He was able to deliver the ball, able to scramble. It just looked like everything that he was able to do the 2 years he was in Oregon. So he should be all right. I mean, I don't expect the Broncos to be good, making playoff push, but I mean, he's a rookie quarterback. I'll say this: he's better than the rookies that came in the year before this year. So,
All of them are better than those guys, man.
yeah, man, this class looks a little more, grounded than the previous. So I'm sure people are excited about that for sure. But he's cool. He's cool.
Yeah, but my bad. I didn't mean to sidetrack from that. I actually had that question come in about Bo Nix earlier, so I want to get your take on that. But obviously, you said you were looking at preseason and other things. What are well, you're taking preseason with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
What else? What else when it came to that?
So, like I said, within preseason, you see the snaps and you see, like, oh, this person's playing with, the first team and this person's playing with the second team, or they play with both teams. So you want to, kind of, bucket that. You don't want to make that as like actual fact. You want to use that in your toolbox in terms of, the information gathering that you're doing. You also want to pay attention to what the coaches are saying also.
Man.
How they're speaking about their players. Like, for instance, Jahan Dotson, somebody that people are still like trying to give hope to, but the coaches are telling you like, hey, I don't know, like he's still battling with all these other Jags for who's going to be that second wide receiver if they're running 2 wide receiver sets. So those are the type of information I also want to pay attention to with the snaps, or where the snaps are taking place, and then just kind of, you want to take the information that you saw last year, you want to apply it, but don't apply it too much because this is a new year. Some of these teams have, replaced their offensive coordinator, replaced their head coaches, their schemes have changed. So just some of the things that I like to pay attention to when I'm trying to like get ready. And then the psychology, like, hey, how are my other, the competitors, how are they talking about other, players? You want to kind of, you know, kind of inch them towards like, hey, what do you think about this player? Or just seeing, like, for instance, an auction, you can kind of pay attention to how people are, how much they like a player, because they just like, you see the dollar bid and all of a sudden it just goes to $200. You're like, oh shoot, like this dude's serious. So let me try to bleed his pockets, kind of just inch his money and see how far he can go. So I think those are kind of things that I like to pay attention to. For sure. I think that psychology part is major, because you'd be surprised, just in conversation of like what they think about players, and then once you get to the actual draft, you can kind of see like, oh, okay, this dude really wants him, so let me try to use that to my advantage. And if you're in auction, then like you say, you can price them for us and make them pay more than they probably thought they would budget for that particular player.
Yeah, auctions, it's a whole different breed, bro. And it's like you gotta, because they're all different too. Because if we did that draft again, it would be a completely different draft.
Yep,
Like
sure
that's the
would.
crazy part I'd say about auction, man. But you mentioned the name, like you said, Jahan Dotson. It kind of got me thinking. Like, obviously, a lot of people on here, they hear my takes about players. Is there a player that you like and a player that you dislike? Let's start with the player you like first. Is there somebody that's on your radar that you're like, man, I've heard the coaches talk about him? Actually, before we get into that, you mentioned when you came on the stream, you said you knew I went after Bijan. You were in on Bijan, and then I got him. I went and paid up for him, right? That's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
I said he's my number 1 player overall. Are you worried about Tyler Algier? You talked about coach speak earlier, Jahan Dotson, and I've had a lot of questions about Tyler Algier and his role. Are you worried about Tyler Algier?
Not really, man. Like, I know he's there. He'll probably get 25-30%, but come on, man. Like, the coaches ain't dumb, man. Like, I mean, Bijan was still what, top 5 in touches, and we thought he was misused. So just think about if they give him, 15-20% more, how much more production he's gonna have. And he's coming from a tree where once they have their guy, they ain't messing with the formula too much. So I'm not sure how often we're gonna see Algier out there, but I know for a fact that Bijan is gonna get his touches. So um, I'm not really worried about Algier, man.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm like Lil Wayne. I ain't worried about nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, old school
exactly.
Wayne, man. We got some chats that came in. Damn, 14-man leagues are hard. Got me stuck on every draft pick. I think, have you done any 14-man, 16-man leagues? Because it's like it thins out really quickly. And you gotta, I was telling before the draft, you have to address positions in this draft earlier than your 12 and 10-man leagues.
Yeah, man. The last time I've done a 14 was probably 3 years ago, and yeah, once you get to the like that 5th round, you're just like, damn, ain't no running backs left. I'm over here thinking I have to start Darnell Mooney as my third wide receiver. So, and I heard you mention earlier, like some of these premium positions, like, well, the yeah, premium in terms of like they're a little more scarce, like tight end. You probably gotta get a little earlier because it gets scary hours once you start looking at, like Dalton Schultz, who's going to be like the fourth, fifth option on a good offense. Like, do I really want to start that dude every week? Do I want to take a chance on Luke Musgrave that's battling with another young tight end and like four other wide receivers on top of that? Like, yeah, there's certain positions you got to attack early. Quarterback, I think you can still wait a little bit, but you don't want to wait till like the 9th, 10th round like you can in our standard 12,
Right.
12 team or yeah. So I think those positions for sure. Wide receiver you can wait a little bit later, but again, like you want to get running back, you probably want to address tight end a little earlier.
Yeah, it's funny because like those drafts, it'll throw you off if you haven't done enough mock drafts. It'll kind of throw you off. We talked about something else too, like quarterback. I go for quarterback. I get that question a lot too. Like, when do you take a quarterback? And do you take early quarterback? And I've seen so many analysts out there that say early quarterback. You got to get early quarterback, or even in super flex leagues, you absolutely need to get two quarterbacks early. And you've talked about it, or I forget what the putrid quarterbacks or whatever you crummy quarterbacks,
The crusty quarterbacks, yeah.
crusty quarterbacks, right? So obviously, I go crusty quarterbacks. I don't mind getting Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers. How do you feel
hmm
about quarterbacks, bro? Because I feel like there's not really a fine line. It's like everybody's kind of all over the place when it comes to where they draft them.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked around Twitter, you can see that last year was like a anomaly in terms of quarterback. Like if you got early quarterback last year, then it wasn't fruitful for you. You should have waited. I've always been one to wait around like 8th, 9th round
Mm-hmm.
for my quarterback. I can still get one of these top 12 quarterbacks that might have the potential to be a top 6 guy. So I'm cool with missing out on Josh Allen if he's going in the 3rd round, Jalen Hurts if he's going in the 3rd round, 4th round. Like I'm cool on missing those because I want value in those positions that that need more players like wide receiver or running back. I'll wait a little bit later for quarterback. Now going crusty, I generally don't do that, but I get it. Like for instance, for you, the way you built your team, I get it because you spent your money at running back. Like that's
Yeah.
that's what you do. You spend your money at running back, so I get it. I get it.
He
And
said,
plus, there's a lot of quarterbacks that that might be quote unquote crusty, but they'll still suffice. Like they'll still get you them QB1 weeks, maybe
yeah.
you know
I got Rogers. I got Rogers and Cousins, and I'm like, those guys. I know they're gonna have a lot of top 12 weeks. Like I just know those guys are there. Only thing you're not worried about really is the Achilles. But I've
yeah.
been crusty quarterback. I don't normally do that in single QB leagues, but I do have my target. I'm curious who your target is because I have my targets, and these guys know who my target is. Who's your target in those rounds? Like if you not crusty, but if you wait on quarterback, you're in the 8th, 9th, 10th round. You got to have a certain guy that in mind. You're like, I think he could be a top 5 guy or maybe a top 7 guy. Who is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's Kyler Murray if he's around that range. Like that's the one person I've been like hammering, even in best ball underdog drafts, all these different best ball drafts. I've been hammering Kyler Murray. It just, he said that he feels much better. Even when he came back at the second half of last year, I think he was scoring wise. I think he was top 10 scoring when he was playing. You get Marvin Harrison Jr. You get Trey McBride. I mean, you got other young wide receivers around him. I think this year with him being comfortable in the offense, that's just one person I've been really, really, really zoned in on is Kyler Murray.
I like Kyler a lot too. I don't know. For whatever reason, we haven't seen him be like the guy. We haven't seen him be like a top 5 guy in a while. So he's been hurt, obviously, dealt with
Yeah.
the ACL, but curious to see because he's not in Cliff Kingsbury's offense anymore too. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people always go back to is like he was so good with D Hop and like they played in the air raid. So I
Mhm.
like Kyler. And I would take him probably as like my QB7 or QB around QB7-ish range,
Mhm.
QB8 range. But I feel like the drop off of like him versus Dak, Jordan Love, Purdy, Jaden Daniels, I feel like the drop off ain't there. That's the only reason I haven't taken a lot of Kyler Murray.
So, question for you then: what do you think about Jaden Daniels with Coach Bro as his offensive coordinator?
I'm like, bro, like this to me, it feels like what we were expecting out of Kyler. You're just getting it at a discount, and obviously he's not
Mm-hmm.
the same. He's not the same build as Kyler. But if they're going to run him and he's going to get over 700 yards, we're talking about a guy that's probably going to be a top 5 to 7 quarterback. Like if he
Yeah.
stays healthy, probably, and his production in college, it's like if he's anywhere near that in the pros, we're talking about a guy we massively missed on. So I have him rated as like my QB8 right now. It still feels kind of low. I ain't gonna hold you. Like
Oh,
it feels like
really?
kind of low.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Okay. All
Like
right. So another question for you. I know people are really hyped up about Houston. With adding Diggs, what do you think about CJ Stroud being what QB3, QB4? What do you think about? Yeah, you
bro,
spilling the
like
beans, man.
I just you look back to for whatever reason, his production, it was like what he actually did on the field versus what we thought he did on the field and like his playoff performance. It's not the same. Like the hype that he got last year is because it was unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
If we had expectations, the same expectations we have on Caleb Williams this year as we have on if we had that on CJ Stroud last year, he would have widely been looked at as like, okay, you did what you're supposed to do. He was the number
Mm-hmm.
2 pick. And to throw for 4,100 yards, I know it was only 15 games. He threw for 4,100 yards. He threw at an incredible volume, and he would have 500 pass attempts. He was throwing like damn near 40 times a game. It's not like he produced at this crazy level. And the Texans have a hard schedule this year, too. I think a lot of people don't realize the Texans' schedule and what that looks like this year. It's not a layup like it was last year because they were going against bottom feeders. They're playing the elite teams because they finished at the top of the division.
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I'm not in on CJ Stroud. He don't provide the rushing upside. I'm out on CJ Stroud at the ADP.
Yeah, I feel the same. I think 3 is like this, like ceiling if he's, running, but he don't run. Like, why am
Mm-hmm.
I drafting somebody that everything he did was literally based on efficiency, which is their coordinators from the Shanahan tree, which is everything is based off efficiency. So again, like I understand that he balled last year, but why am I paying ceiling price for somebody that doesn't run and he don't throw 650, 700 times? So I'm betting on efficiency again. Nah, I'm good. I'm
I think they're
good.
gonna up the. I think they're gonna up the volume even more though this year. Like I think that's why you go get a Diggs. Like I think you get a Diggs so you could throw it 600 times and feel good about your situation because they were throwing
Mm-hmm.
down. Everything was downfield for them last year. So you get
Mm-hmm.
some checkdowns to Joe Mixon, you get some checkdowns to Diggs, a little shorter stuff. Who do you like in that receiving core? You like Diggs? You like Nico Collins? Or you like Tank Dell? Because that's another one that like I think the fantasy community is torn on. Some people got Diggs as the receiver one. Some people got Nico. Some people got Tank Dell. It's all over the place.
Well, it's tricky because all 3 of them are gone before the 4th round, which
Yeah,
is
crazy.
another thing. Like, so if you think that all of them are going to be return value, then CJ Stroud is the QB3. He's going to be damn near MVP, and this offense is going to go for like 5,000 yards. I'm like, I don't.
No
I,
way.
to me, that don't. It don't. The math ain't mathing, in my opinion. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I don't think all those things can be true.
That'd be a
Uh,
crazy leap. Like
yeah,
from 4,100 yards to 5,000. That'd be like a really big leap. We'd have to see a whole different player.
yeah, man. The one I want, obviously, you would say the cheapest one would be Dell, but I actually want Diggs, man. I know Nico just literally exploded out of nowhere, and like if you look at like the yards per route run was second to Tyreek Hill in every like man coverage, too high safety, like anything you can break down, he was top 3 in yards per route run. It's crazy, but I don't know. I just love Diggs for some reason. I just think you bring in somebody like that for 1 year, like he's on a 1 year deal. I think you're trying to go for it. I think you need to. I think he's the one that gets peppered.
See, I've been saying that and I've been getting killed for it. I've been getting killed for saying that, not here on this channel, but like on my page when I post a video. I
Mm-hmm.
get killed for saying I think Diggs is the guy that's going to get 150 targets. Nico's probably going to play a similar role, 100 to 110 efficient targets. And then Dell's
Mm-hmm.
going to be the downfield guy out the slot. Like, that's just how I see it. But maybe I'm tripping, man. Maybe I'm tripping. You got time for a mock or what?
Not really, because I know the wifey's like we got
We'll get
Got
you.
a
We'll
schedule.
get another one in, bro. We'll get
No,
another
yeah,
one
we
in, man.
definitely will for sure, man. I'm glad that I was like, man, what is going on right now? As I'm trying to put the little one down, I was like, I see my boy Justin with the mocks. I was like, all right, let me go tap in with the boy real quick. So yeah,
Hell
we
yeah.
definitely need to do a mock. And I mean, I heard you talking about the Discord in the leagues you got going on in there, man. Like, hey, let me know something.
Hey, shit, I'll send you the link. You can get in that one. I got a money league, doing a money auction league for YouTube members, but you can slide in there.
When is that?
Probably next Friday. I think I'm gonna draft it next Friday during the daytime.
I'm gonna be out of pocket, man.
Oh,
I'm
that's right.
be
You're gonna be where you said you
Yeah.
going international. Where are you going? Is that for
Yeah,
pleasure or is that for
I'm gonna
work?
be no. So my cousin, my first cousin, she getting married. She's in London, so she doing one in London, and then she has I'm Nigerian, so we do a traditional, and then we do like the quote unquote white wedding, like the student and
Yeah,
everything. So
yeah,
doing
yeah.
the traditional next Friday, and then we're going to Italy. She going to Italy, so she making us. Yeah, she breaking the bank.
Hey, shit,
So
I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it,
yeah,
chill.
and that
Hey,
was cool. Yeah, so we're going to Verona for this for the white wedding. So it
yeah.
should be cool because we're gonna, in between that we'll go and pull up in Milan and a couple other places in Italy. So it should be a good time and be the first time traveling with the little one. So that should
Hey,
be an adventure too.
good stuff, man. International travel. They said he going to the Brazil game. He lying.
If I go
They
to the
said,
Brazil game, I ain't coming back,
yeah.
man.
You better be there for that damn wedding. Last one,
Hey,
man. What you think about mixing, bro? What do you think about mixing, man? How you feeling about
all
mixing
right,
this year?
so I think so. I know I said I'm not paying the QB3 price for Stroud. That don't mean I don't believe in the offense. I actually have the Texans going to the Super Bowl.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I like mixing in this offense because 3 wide receiver sets can't stack the box. Offensive line is at least average. I think run blocking wise they're a little bit above average. If everybody stays healthy, I think this is a great volume spot for Mixon. I think he does the same thing he did in Cincinnati. Somebody that's get 250 carries, 1,000 yards. You probably just laugh at it, but he ends up finishing top 12 running back every year and doesn't do anything flashy for you. So I like Mixon.
Eugene, I knew I liked you, bro. We on the same wavelength when it comes to this fantasy shit, bro. I swear, man. Like I knew, you know what I'm saying? That's why we was going after a lot of the same players in the draft, bro. So definitely will get you in the money league, man. Y'all make sure to drop Gene a follow, man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Appreciate you coming on. But yeah, man, anytime you want to pop on the stream, bro, just let me know.
Yeah, man, I'll hit you up for real, man.
It's all good. All right, bro.
All right, man. Peace.
Yes, sir. Man, the homie Gene, man. Shout out to Gene for coming to the chat, man. It's 14 team. I'm not rating this one, bro. Not rating this one, man. Not rating this one. I'm not gonna delete it, but we gotta get to it. We get